Basically, $100 per sale.
$100 if you give us a script.
Yeah.
And we add the closed caption.
Oh, we give you a script.
If you give us a script. You have to transcribe it for us, and it has to be word for word. I mean, it's got to be word for word.
Clarity and
accuracy. And then now let me just say, I just want to say, it is not our goal that any of you, we're not saying you can't do this anymore. We've just got to find a way to continue to move forward. And it's our goal to help you comply. We typically would charge $250 a program to do this service. But because we know this surprised us, we know it surprised you, we're going to do it for $100. Okay? So that's one option.
The other option is, because KSHV has an exemption, if we produce it, and that was the verbiage that we got back. So it really comes down to the level of production. And I think what we've decided is you guys all shoot, and you had multi-camera shoots, I'm guessing, and all this stuff. But you all shoot your own services or your own shows. If you deliver that to us with video edited without any of the graphics or without any of the full screens or any of the Bible verses or any of the prayers or whatever stuff that you put in there, but you give that to us, then we can add all that and produce it, if you will, and then it does not have to be captioned.
How much production do you guys actually have to be involved in order to be exempt?
Well, we think that is enough, because that is post-production. We would add what we call the supers, and I've been involved in one other service in a different town where they put up the Lord's Prayer over the flowers. We would zoom in on the flowers and put up the Lord's Prayer, and then they put up whatever the Bible verse of the week is, or any of those things. And I have not seen any of your shows, so I don't know what y'all do. But any of that anything graphically, let's put it that way, we have that. It does not have to be captioned. Now that's a little bit more expensive because that's a little bit more labor intensive, and we have but it doesn't have to be captioned. And the graphic, again, we may be able to do some things that y'all haven't done in the past, with some of our equipment. But that is $250.
What I'm asking is, because you have such a dynamic group here that's trying to stay with you guys, and I'm trying to figure out how much production you guys have to put in. Is there a criteria that basically says that you have to do graphics? What if you put a bug up? Just run KSHV across it, which is very minimal, which will keep you business, as opposed to increasing our output and changing everything we do until we can at least try to comply. Because if there's no, you're asking us to give up another $250 and take all the work that we typically would do, which is the easiest route. If you find a solution to where you can just stick a bug on there and run a bug just to keep our business until we can comply, I think that would help us out at least for this month.
Well, I can pose that question. The response I got back from our attorney was, if KSHV produces the show, and so the definition of producing, certainly doing the post-production on it, and there are 10 churches that air on KSHV. Mike Thomas he's the operations manager, and all of those kind of people are under him. He's not looking to produce 10 church shows every week, because that's a whole lot of work. That's a whole lot of work. So again, we're not approaching this as a way to make a whole lot of money off the thing. But I don't think putting a bug up, but I will pose the question, but I don't think putting a bug up is going to satisfy production.
Well, what I'm getting at is, what's the minimum amount of production that you can do that can help us at least get through this month and maybe find some alternatives instead of you. Really, I got the call yesterday that you guys are basically getting ready to take us off the air. So now we're scrambling as to what we need to do. At least this can get us through the month, and we can find some other alternatives before we pull our programming. Because, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that's some of our options right now because we don't have the time or the manpower.
Right. Well, the easiest thing is it would be to give us a script so that
that's the challenge. Get you the script. That's the biggest challenge.
And if like, we preach a lot of words. You're talking about 20 or 30 pages. Just that one script for that one message. And like I said, I want to know how this thing is going to play out because I've already turned in everything for this month. And then we've already paid for all of the programming for this month. And now if you guys are not going to air that anymore, then I'm pulling out.
Right. Well, if it doesn't air, then you'll get a refund back on whatever you paid.
Okay, I'm not going to have to run anybody down for that, right?
No,
We'll be together and we'll discuss it. I know co-pastor counsel, special counsel just walked in and she's kind of getting the end of what we're talking about.
Okay.
Can you give her
I'll give you a quick.
Yeah.
My name's Mark, and the FCC has new closed captioning rules that go into effect on Monday, this Monday. We were caught a little bit by surprise how they apply to KSHV. We were operating under the assumption that it was exempt, like it has been. And what's changed is that any program that's produced by KSHV is exempt from having closed captioning. Anything that's brought to us pre-produced has to have it has to be captioned, or we have to caption it. But and those rules go into effect on Monday, and it's short notice. But I think we got this clarification Wednesday. We met yesterday, and so this is it was about as quick as we could get it put together. So that so there are there are three options. You can opt to no longer air your show, as it sounds like this gentleman's going to do. You can give us a script of the show that we will then insert through our captioning equipment for a charge of $100 a week, or you can let us be more involved in the production of your show, and that's the way we're looking at it right now, and I'll get clarification, but the way we're looking at it, you give us the video, tell us, what full screens and graphic treatment and all that, and then we will add that, and then we would consider that produced by KSHV. That's $250 a week, in addition to what you're paying for the airtime.
That includes the closed caption.
But if we produce it, it does not have closed caption. So, one of the, no, you don't have to add that. If we would probably put a tag at the end of it, produced by KSHV White Knight Broadcasting, and then it does not have to be captioned. Now, I can tell you, I worked with a church in Amarillo, and we charged them $250 to transcribe, to listen to their show. Have somebody to type it up, and then we would run it through the deal. But they saw it as a ministry for hard of hearing waiver. Then you don't have a waiver.
So I guess my question would be is if we can add the closed captioning ourselves.
If you can do that now, do you have a?
I was going to interject a second ago. I've been doing Mount Olive Baptist Church for about 2 years, capturing on them. It only takes about, and I don't type very fast, it takes about 2 hours to type a 30-minute show. And it's not very difficult, I think, Raj, you have equipment that you can add captioning with already. So, a lot of you might already have that in-house.
What kind of equipment are we talking about?
He has some software called Premiere.
Okay.
And you can add the caption to Premiere, and that'll keep you on air. It's not that difficult to do. And there's some other things you can get that is have the main part of time.
I'll give you a card.
Okay, sure, that'd be great, because
Would you be accessible to us if we were needing to get some quick training? Because I've got the manpower, I got the time, and I can get the software.
Sure.
So that probably would not be a problem on our part. So can I make contact with you? Have some meet time, and so that means that if I can get my closed caption in it, I can keep the minute as usual.
Good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
I had a great question. I'm getting old, it just threw it
I
out of my mind.
understand that.
If, what was I going to ask?
Software.
Yeah, the software, if we do the closed captioning ourselves,
There's no additional charge.
okay.
It's just like it is today.
But now, if we had y'all produce it, it's $250 plus the money for the airtime, right?
That's
Now, my next question is, we're probably going to be at least off the air for 2 weeks. Can we reserve our time?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Isaac's the station manager and program director, so
Okay.
we'll just fill it with something
Okay.
else. Something else that is captioned.
Okay.
we can get software we can do. You know,
Who's going to type it?
I know a secretary is pretty sharp at
Hey,
that
that's
stuff.
right. You're one. Okay.
See, that's the key. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay? We just have to figure out what works best for you.
And one other thing we have, is, the Tyler folks have set up an FTP site that I think you guys are uploading to. Does that sound right? So we've reverted back. You can still do that as long as it's captioned. Or you can go, we're going to go back to the thumb drive or DVD if you want to deliver those out here, and it's on Wednesday, the deadline. Yes. And then we're going to overnight them to Tyler. So that might be a little bit easier than the FTP. They were having some problems receiving it, and I think there was some problems with just uploading it. So
That we know.
So we can go back to the other way, or you can FTP it, or you can give us the show.
So we elect to do the script, which you need to print it, which you need to on the thumb drive as well.
If
you chose to do the script, preferably needed in some kind of digital format, so we just take it, copy and paste it, and turn it to a file.
And there's nothing actually that we can do, since this was just dropped on us, as it was dropped on you. They won't give us a 30-day allowance to get our stuff in line.
The station is looking at, I think it's a $40,000 fine per occurrence.
Well, y'all could swallow that.
I've got 3 stations. 3.
Well,
and I apologize for that, because the last thing. Well, the last thing that that we want to do is disrupt the flow of your message to your viewers. If I would tell you this, that if you could get us the script, Mike's going to kick me, but if you could get us the script in a digital file of some kind, we can I call it, we can suck that stuff in, stick it in the closed captioning, and we'll do it at no charge for the rest of this month. And that way it'll help you out a little bit. But you got to give us the script.
Well, I have to remake it because. Well, just as the rest of, there's a lot of the stuff we've already given to Cynthia that she's got. We have to either get it back or. Oh my goodness.
The show's
smart. Like Mr. Dodson right here, he has a 1-hour show. So there's a difference between the price between a 30 minutes and a 1 hour.
It would not be any more work on a script, right? No. So we'd leave the script the way now. We probably got to visit about producing, adding graphics, because that is a lot more, double the work. Probably give you a little bit of a price break.
And the majority of this show is video. So you would have to get the words to those songs.
And, in the old days, you could just put up the little, turtle note.
Right.
Yeah, I thought you still can put up there.
No,
Can't put that in.
you have to put the words to the song.
What?
Yes, you do.
know where I'm at. So it's required singing before the sermon after.
But you
have words to sermon and words.
You've got the word.
Yeah, you know, yeah, the word has no
Every
problem.
single word that's spoken has to be.
Yes.
It's just like screen that comes up. Yeah, I go to hearing everything.
The words just.
And all the songs, I mean, certainly those exist somewhere on the internet. But, say, a text file. Absolutely.
But the problem is that if they're like our church, you see 18 different ways and
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm coming from a Methodist church, so yeah, that might be a little different.
Music, there's nothing, Glenn, for music. If it says, don't you just put music on there or
That's what
something?
we're talking about.
Yeah, you have to actually put the words to the lyrics.
No, if there are no words.
Oh, yes, you do. You actually have to describe what is going on.
Singing.
And so, if you have like just a music interlude playing, then yes, you've got to put up.
Like organ playing or something like that. It also has to detail.
Oh, no, that's okay. We say music more.
More than one person speaking at the same.
There's no words. We don't have any words.
Did everybody hear that? This is important.
Yes.
Say that
You
again.
have to detail who's speaking, so if you have more than one person speaking, you have to make sure you identify each person when they're speaking. So you have to make sure that happens.
You put their name in parentheses.
Do we have a text file of an example of a church show?
I was doing it. Do you
You
have
have
a
to do it,
script?
it comes out of a numeric deal. There's nothing really to read. It comes out of funny numeric things.
You think there's something that exists someplace that, just as an example?
Likewise, it's,
Why don't we make sure we get everybody's email address so that we can, at least we can send you some kind of a template. I don't know if the church in that they're still doing that.
it's not really, we basically,
HPC.
I need to write something down or you have to.
I mean, I've got one at Peterbilt. If you want to send it to Peterbilt.
We probably do that for the month, and by the end of the month, we probably do it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll get there this month. And it'll
Ask me a question. I was going to ask him about the software. Do you actually have to put that information in as you are producing? You know, we make a DVD, so we'll make the DVD. Now, do we have to go back and then add that to the DVD before it's actually finished, or?
you send the DVD over, you just kind of restrict it, add it, and then put it back on the DVD.
But he was talking about,
I'm talking Premiere. If we were using Premiere,
Okay.
is that something that runs simultaneously with what we've got?
Right, you actually can print the DVD or play it out to DVD with the caption there.
But I think you would want to put the captioning material in before you burn it.
When you play it out, it'll burn it to DVD.
So it's got to be in the Premiere software.
Because the two shows that Cynthia has now have already been produced and done away with, basically, so we can get ready for our next one. So on those cases, we'd have to let you add it to it. Is that pretty much?
I'm going to make one quick suggestion also, since I've been researching it a lot, because I knew the day was coming. If you have an iPad, and I just read this today, if you have an iPad, use your voice recorder and maybe stick it close to the speaker. It may dictate it for you. It may. Don't know how well it works. A friend of mine told me about it. Just try it, give it a try to see how much copy you actually get. And if you have some holes, you can go back. It's easy to fill up the gaps instead of taking it raw and having to type in everything unless you type 60 words per minute. But try an iPad to dictate it. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow, just to see if it works.
And if you pass you, no.
That's even better. The closer you are, the better. But it's a long process.
And we have looked into, as a company, voice recognition software for, it just doesn't.
There's nothing that comes that you can play a file out, and it has to be through a microphone. Yeah. Dragging is the best thing out there, so there's nothing else that can help.
So, just any other questions? I was going to recap kind of where we are at it. They do go into effect on Monday. Our first show is Thursday. A couple on Friday. Most of y'all's shows are run over the weekend. If you want to cancel, then obviously let your sales folks know. If you want to come off for a couple of weeks, we'll hold the time period, let your sales folks know. If you want to use our service to give us a text file and let your sales folks know. And then if you come up with some other solution and this works, kind of talk amongst yourselves. But the shows do have to be captioned for us to air. Right. And Mike, did you hand out cards?
Yes, everybody, but
Mike's kind of he's and Ray too. But they're the go-to guys. Everything else? We appreciate the chance to help you out.
Yeah, no, I ain't have a question, but I wanted to say that whether we really understand this or not, I know it's not you guys' problem.